Welcome to Anime Anonymous. I am CJ.
And this is Jess.
And this is a married edition. Our buddy Ace is unfortunately sick. We usually record earlier in the week, hoping he got better. Not so. We're going to go on without the third crew member. But we are jumping into Vivy Fluorite Eyes song. This was 13 episodes, which I'm so happy it was, because it at first when 12 ended, I was like, this could not be the end. And then I was like, oh, thank the Lord, there's another episode. But it is 13 episodes long. I want to say it's very recent. Are you looking that up?
Yes, I got you.
So this is also scuffed edition. We are not using the normal mic, so I'm kind of
no judgment here.
Yeah, and I'm using my phone for other things, which is usually what I use to research. 2021. Okay, all right. I thought it was recent.
April 2021.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, I didn't remember if it came out 2020 or it came out 2021, so that makes sense. It has really good reviews, different areas, anywhere from basically an 8 to 10 to 10 out of 10. So really well received, but not very hyped. I saw glimpses of this anime when it first came out, but I didn't really see it all around. And I think it definitely deserves more shine to it. But before we jump fully into it, always want to let you know where you guys can reach us. Anime Anonymous X on Instagram, Anime Anonymous on Twitter, just Anime Anonymous on Audius, and then if you want to email us, it's xanimeanonymousx@gmail.com. My brain was like, I can't speak that quickly. So I already spoke a little bit on some stuff. Obviously, I really was looking forward to the 13th episode. But what did you think, Jess?
I really enjoyed it. I definitely got a lot of Violet Evergarden kind of vibes. With how the stories played out. So,
which is one we need to review.
It'll be in the future.
Yeah, that's definitely in the future.
It'll be in the future. You know, we gotta see other ones too. But basically the episodes, how they were played out, I didn't know if at the beginning, I didn't know if I was a fan of the mini arcs of all the episodes, because it wasn't seamless, one time frame we start and another one we keep going, because it's over 100 years. That's how this anime works. It's over 100 years.
Yeah.
So one episode will be, the very beginning, and then the next episode will be 5 years later. The next one will be 15 years later. The next one will be 30 years later. And then all of a sudden, halfway through the anime, she's 60-something years old, and you're like,
well, yeah.
Oh.
What did you? I mean, if they didn't do that, this would be a 200 episode anime.
I'm just giving people the fair warning that the next episode might not start directly after episode 1.
Yeah, they're set pieces. I personally, I didn't have any issue with it. But to kind of give a little bit more background on what Jess is saying, synopsis for this. This anime starts you off in it. You start off with seeing kind of these people dying and androids murking them, crushing faces, hitting, crashing into people, crushing their heads, and that's how it starts. And then you see a researcher kind of keying in this stuff, saying, "Oh, you know what? You're the only one who can help us." And you kind of see a little bit of Vivy just sitting there, and then you immediately see that not her. They're sending back a robot and information with that robot, who he goes by Matsumoto. He's a cute little cube robot. He goes back 100 years in the past. So to basically prevent the war between androids and humans, obviously 100 years in the future. So that's why you're following this 100-year life of this android called Diva. We're going to say Vivy all the time because, again, first episode you really find that out. There's this little human girl who likes to call her Vivy because she reminds her of this character in the storybook. So she kind of alternates between Diva and Vivy. Like, when she's doing her actual mission, which is, making everybody smile with her singing, she goes by Diva. When she's doing the mission to basically save the world, she really goes by Vivy.
I'm playing off the whole mission thing. So every AI is set up with a mission.
Yeah.
So you learn throughout the anime that there's different AI. So like you'll meet ones that are for hospitality and their mission is to take care of the customers and, make sure they're happy. And you also see the very weird looking AI at the very beginning. I don't know if they you see the evolution of AI too.
Yeah,
over
she's the first of
over
her
the
kind.
100,
Yeah.
but like those little side ones that don't speak.
Yeah, like
weird
they
in
look
the
really
beginning.
robotic. Yeah,
they look very weird.
They're like humanoid robots. They look more like androids instead of like cyborgs. They look very robotic, but barely human-like.
Right.
Facial structures and stuff, but Vivy was like the first of her kind to really look like a human, etc.
Yeah. So
one thing that I did really like, I'll tell you right now, I enjoyed a lot of this, but one thing I really did like was the humanity of Vivy. Because, like, she starts off very robotic, right?
beautiful voice though.
Yes, but even then, kind of robotic. Like, even trying to, like, do poses and stuff like that, right? Like, just because she saw it.
Like, she tries to bow, and the human kid, her name is actually Momoka, and she's like, she goes to Diva, or Vivy, like, what was that? She's like, well, I saw that, human performers.
See, right now, your voice
bow,
way too much emotion.
bows like that, like, the curtsy with the arm up and like the arm over, like old school curtsy.
Yeah.
And Momoka's like, no, we don't do that.
Yeah, no, she was like, she saw it like from an idol group or something.
Yeah. It was cute though.
Yeah, no, it was. But yeah, she's very robotic, kind of going through the motions. And throughout the anime, you really see those emotions grow in her. There's one portion where you can basically think she's human. And I'm not going to say why it happens, but there's a part where she has so much emotion, so much just like charisma, everything, and then she kind of goes a little bit back and turns a little bit more robotic. But just her evolution was really cool. And you actually mentioned this, which I had that in my head, but I didn't even put like kind of two and two together. Detroit Beyond Human vibes. Like this is literally almost like if you turned Detroit into an anime.
Right. So we're talking about, I don't know if our listeners know, but Detroit is it only a PS4?
No, it's just a game.
It's a game, but it's a story game, but it's one of those games where the ending changes based on the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
And literally the AIs, androids basically, have almost the same kind of like circular triangle thing on their neck it's on their head.
Yeah, I was like, it's on their head, but they
head.
could like pop it off or something.
Right.
I can't remember.
But like just the whole dynamic and the whole story, I was like, this is so...
Yeah, it's very...
so like that.
Yeah, and the storytelling in both is very good. So, we just side bonus content. You know, if you like a story game where your choices really do matter, Detroit Become Human or Beyond Human, I can't remember. Really good game.
I killed the main person in the first one.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how. Okay, side tangent again. It is literally the training episode, like training area. I didn't even know you could kill get the robot killed. I was like, you have to be so skilled at being bad to kill him. Like, anyway, so sidetracked. Poor Connor. R.I.P. Connor. But yeah, it's just, you see the evolution, one in Vivy, but you also see it in the robotics. Because you see like her sisters, quote unquote, right?
They're all sisters in a sense. Well, like
not all of them.
Right.
A lot of like the caregivers are like her sisters, because not all the caregivers are like her sisters. Because Estella and Liz are, but that's because they kind of took her voice and added it to them. But yeah, like you see, like even them, they're the first sisters that you meet, and they are so much more human than she is. And I want to say when you meet them, there's only maybe like a 20-year gap, which means like it did grow a lot, you know, the technology. But I don't know. There's just like the visuals in this anime are amazing.
It's very pretty.
Like,
it's definitely very pleasing to the eye. We can definitely get into the action part of all this anime that is like amazing.
Yeah, which is another reason we were trying to see if Ace felt better, but hopefully he does. The martial arts, action, everything, so good. Like super cool. Hand-to-hand combat is one of my favorite things in animes. They did it really, really well. And they also tied in the music really well too. It ebbs, it flows. You have it where it's like, you know, like a very intense moment. You have the music there. When it's kind of a sadder moment, it's, you know, slightly lower. Like the music was really paramount in this, and I think that just shows the complexity of the anime, period, because Vivy is supposed to be a songstress, like, but she's out here throwing hands like with the best of them, but then at the end of the day she still wants to sing. And so like you see the action of her, you know, doing really well, but then the music is not just like in the background, like it's in the forefront, and it's really, really good. But yeah, like what I was saying about the visuals look really, really good. They sometimes draw her super just pleasing to the eye, and then there's other times where they want to draw it to your attention again, like, hey, she is a cyborg, because like they zoom in on her eye lenses doing like the whole,
that's really cool.
Yeah, like when your camera like is trying to focus on something and the lens is all flickering, like they do that, which is really, really cool. But yeah, I don't know, like the attention to detail is really, really good. Jess did mention it earlier, like there are time skips, but I don't personally think they're that confusing. They do tell you what the time skip is, and then you can kind of tell, honestly, with Vivy, because you see she's in a whole nother area, or
a different stage.
Yeah, she's on a different stage, or her personality, she has more personality,
or a different outfit.
Yeah, different outfit too.
Yeah, she does have a lot of outfits, different outfits.
Yeah. And one thing that was cool was there was never a fully generic opening. Like,
no, the openings were all different
slightly different each time. Yes.
The beginning of the intro was different.
And the ending.
Yeah. But the in-between was the same.
Yes.
But they made sure they tied the beginning and the ending to what you're going to be watching.
Yep.
Or either what you've just seen. And I thought that was really cool and a really nice touch because, you know, intros, I'm pretty sure everybody does it. Once you see it, you skip it, because you're just binging. You just want to get to the anime. You just don't want to do it. But I think I watched the intro on every single episode.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like,
because I didn't know it was an intro until
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 you
the
see
title.
Fluorite song pop up.
I was like, oh, this is the intro. And then I would skip through the generic part because I was like, oh, that's the same thing. But I really liked the music, so like, depending on how I was feeling on each episode.
Well, yeah, because the beginning of the anime flows into it. Then, like you said, you have the same, and then the ending of it flows right out. So there's no technical cut.
No.
Yeah,
and also
really
the
well
intro
done.
doesn't pop up until like episode 2 or 3.
I think it's 3. You don't see the title of the anime pop up until 3.
The first episode, I literally watched it, and of course, they throw you in the freaking deep end, and it's like CJ was saying, robots are crashing, humans are dying,
literally
blood everywhere. Like,
a
it's
robot,
a freaking war.
Yeah, a robot grabs a woman by her face. Well, at first she like touches her face. She's like, "Are you okay?" And then just crushes her face. I was like, "What is going on?
What is CJ having us watch? Like, what are we about to get into?" And then you go through the episode, and then it's just the end credits. Like, there's no end credit like outro. There's just end credits. I'm like, okay. So then we go to the second. I'm like, okay, we're gonna get the intro. Nope. Throw you right into the story, and you're like, okay. And then maybe we'll get the intro at the end. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm like, is there an intro in this anime?
yeah.
And then by the third episode, you're like, oh, we got an intro.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 3. I'm pretty sure. But what about you? Like, I've mentioned some things that I like. Like, what really stood out to you? What do you like?
I'm pretty sure you can agree. How do you say his name?
Matsumoto?
Matsumoto is like MVP because he.
Oh, shout out to the dubs, by the way. I did both, subbed and dubbed.
So did I.
And honestly, Matsumoto
dub is hilarious.
Dub way better than his sub. Funnily enough, like whoever they got to dub him, kudos to you, because he was hilarious. I mean, Vivy was good too. Like, none of the dubbed people were bad, but Matsumoto was total different tier.
Yeah, like his humor, like he has a lot of humor and a lot of jokes that he throws out. But basically what happens to him is he transfers himself into this bear that Momoka gave to Vivy. And so when all the time skips happen, Vivy and Matsumoto don't recognize each other initially. So Vivy's like, manhandling him. Like, get out of here. So there's one episode where he's like, where she doesn't recognize but doesn't like immediately attack him. And she kind of asks him like, okay, what was I like back when you knew me? And he goes, well, you did things without me telling you. You were very aggressive. You manhandled me a lot. Like, you would squeeze my face and throw me around. But now you're a pretty cool chick. It's just like this.
Don't lie on him. He didn't say that. He was like, yeah, you grind my gears and all this stuff. And she was like, well, then why'd you save me? He was like, what are you talking about?
But no, he was a really awesome aide. Like,
yes.
What do they call it? A guard AI? I think that's what he was called.
No, he was calling himself a guard AI. He was not a guard AI. Guard AI are there to fight.
Yeah, but I really like how each time skip. So every time skip was a piece of the puzzle to the 100-year war that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, like, the first part was this space hotel that was going to crash. Second part.
Just saying.
Thank
People
you.
Start watching it and they'll be like, "Where's the space hotel?"
Okay, the space hotel. So Vivy has to figure out what actually happens. Even though Matsumoto's telling her, like, all right, in 23 hours it's going to go down. In 23 hours and 20 minutes it's going to go down, or whatever. He's giving her, timelines and stuff. But she still has to play her part with that information, which I think is really cool. But she doesn't, like, immediately listen to him where it's like, this person is the one who causes it, so you need to stop that person.
Mm-hmm.
She goes into like an basically Sherlock Holmes it, and she finds out this terrorist group, this human terrorist group, is the one who's behind all these problems that occur. So she knows it's not the AI. Like, she basically is trying to follow her heart while trying to learn what a heart is.
Yes, which again is what really brought it that Violet Evergarden vibes to me, because everybody always goes and and I want to talk about Violet. Okay, quick one. Everybody always talks about how amazing Violet's writing is and full of emotion, but she's trying to figure out what emotions are, and this is the same thing with Vivy. Like, she is, without realizing it, she wants to see the good in everything and the good in every person and AI. So that's why she doesn't listen, and it's a good thing she doesn't listen to him, because what you're talking about, he's like, yeah, it was 24 hours later. If she had listened to him, they would have been screwed, because apparently the news or the reports were falsified. Because they started dropping a whole day earlier.
Yeah. It was pretty quick.
Yeah, and same thing with Ophelia. Oh, I remembered it without looking. But yeah, same thing with Ophelia.
Yeah, like, the story was that Ophelia, like, committed suicide. And, you know, all the news reporters are like, well, she's an AI. How can she commit suicide?
Yeah, because they have no soul and
Right.
etc.
But, like, there's a whole other backstory to it.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that was. I was like, man, I really feel bad for Ophelia.
Yeah, Ophelia went through a lot.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get into too much detail because we want you to watch this.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think about the whole AI and human marriage time skip that occurred?
That one. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, the
I
mature, my very
want
mature mind. I was like, this man just married a high class sex bot.
Well, was she a nurse? The mission was a nurse?
Yeah, which is even weirder because, like, she took care of him when he was a kid, and then he grew up.
So he married his pedophile?
No, she can't be a... You can't say that. She can't... It's like he has, like, mommy issues almost because, like, he fell in love with her as a kid. But then, I mean, to be fair, like, as kids, you get crushes on people all the time. Mm-hmm. But she's a cyborg, so technically she stays the same age. So, yeah. I don't know. But no, I just thought that was funny. I was just like, so, sex bot?
But I mean, then he commits suicide because Vivy had to kill her.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he does it in a really good way. He was like when Vivy's trying to encourage him, he was like, what if it was your one mission? Could you trade your one mission for anything? And she has to shut up. She's like, no. Like, she can't. He was like, she was his one mission. Mm-hmm. Like, he was like, there's no other woman, android or cyborg, because even the copy of her wasn't what he was interested in. He wanted the real her. Right. That wasn't enough for him. So he was like, he didn't want to go on. And I'm not going to say I agree with that, because I don't agree with anything like that like, you know, get help. But right. But his motive had meaning. Right. So yeah, I'm suicide is a very selfish thing, but I mean, you can kind of see why he did it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so he should have just gotten help. Yeah,
but this anime does get into some very
heartstrings,
deep issues, like real world issues. For example, suicide. Another one was, I guess, mainly a whole bunch of lies and like falsify information. Because the news, like, I mean, we can all know today, the news, you know, shouldn't really believe what they're saying. Because it might not even be true, and that's what Vivy was doing the whole time. She wasn't listening to
Yeah, because a lot of his info was messed up.
Saying.
Yeah, no, true. And I mean, and Heartstrings for sure are really done, for me, were like the last 2 episodes. Like those, the 12 and 13 were really, really good. And you find out Vivy basically loses the ability to sing, so she retires. And there's a reason why, but her singing is really important in the last couple episodes, and because she can't do it, a lot of people die. And you're just like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
And the pain... But I also like the fact that they didn't do, like, the trope of her crying. Like, she is a robot, she cannot cry. But it almost made it better, the way they showed her showing her emotion without tears. Like, they had to show it in her body, her facial, like, features, for lack of a better word. Like, I think that was... Because I was like, I swear if they show her crying right now, like... Because, I don't know, like, it just made it a little bit more impactful for me. But it was like the end of a road for the individuals, but also for her growing as a individual. But yeah, no, this hits a lot of things, like you said, but also a lot of genres. I mean, it's definitely sci-fi, but you've got comedy in there, just between how she and Matsumoto interact. Action, we already spoke about that. There's no real, like, romance or anything. I mean, outside of the one guy marrying.
But, I mean, you don't really even see their development of their relationship, like, at all.
And then adventure, I would say, probably be the other top one.
Yeah.
But... yeah, no. I mean, what is it? Yeah, we can kind of get into ratings, but before that, I did some research that I hid from the wife over here.
Oh no.
Because no, you're gonna like it.
Okay.
See, so Vivy was made by Wit Studio, or Studio Wit. Which, do you know what else they've made, Jess? I know you definitely don't, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you know?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, here's a couple things. The ones that you're going to be interested in are the last ones.
Okay.
So, Great Pretender is an anime that they made, which I watched that on Netflix, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Spy X Family, that is one that recently came out this year. Bubble.
Really?
They made Bubble, which you can see in the art, because it's very pretty.
Yes.
Right? And finally,
oh gosh,
they made a certain anime that you love.
Oh no.
Magus Bride.
No!
Yes, they did.
No!
Yep. They produced that.
What?
Yeah. See? Look at that.
What?
I knew you'd like that, because I was like,
what?
why do I know Studio Wit? Why do I know them? And I was like, oh, this is Ancient Magus, guys.
Yeah, that one even is super pretty. Oh man.
Yeah, very beautiful, and the music in that's really good too.
Oh dang! Well, shout out to them.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Shout out to them. So I have a question for you.
Fire away.
Okay, so the human terrorist, the main guy, is that Yugo or like,
yes?
That's
yeah,
Yugo?
That's him. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like Vivy had a chance to kill him, but she didn't. Is that because like what would have happened if she did kill him? Like, would the 100 thing happen? Or
yes.
It still would have happened?
Yes, because in the last episode, episode 12, without spoiling too much, she has a meeting with Archive.
Right.
And Archive said they were tracking certain things.
Because Archive is actually the one who...
Calm down. Can't be giving everything away. No, I'm just kidding. You can go ahead.
So,
I just
sidetrack.
like with you.
Archive is the backup creator of all AIs, correct?
Basically, no. They are basically the AI that was made to survey all AI. So all AI that link up to Archive can now look through their eyes and see what's going on.
But that's all AIs, right?
Not all AI. Only all autonomous ones.
So not the ones that were like doing like the ice cream stand like we saw in the very beginning.
No, those are like so they say it again like episode 12 and 13, like those little, like the, almost for lack of a better word, like the Eve looking robots, for like WALL-E. Like those aren't autonomous.
Because they're actual robots.
Yeah. So any robot that has not linked to Archive didn't go haywire.
So that's why Matsumoto...
No. You did not pay attention the last couple episodes to the conversation that Archive and
I must have skipped that. This is terrible.
So, the reason they were not affected, I believe, is twofold. Okay. I believe Archive just didn't know that it was twofold. They believe that Archive didn't, they believe that Archive let them not go crazy because it gave her the option. Basically, the future is in her hands, right?
Right.
But I think the real reason they didn't go haywire is because he was there while she was creating the song. And her song is both the catalyst and the endpoint. So I think that's probably why. Okay. But that's me. That's speculating. If you're going purely off the anime, then they say...
Because Elizabeth also wasn't.
Elizabeth never linked up to Archive.
Because they disposed her body.
No. It's just the wheelchair girl never linked her. You don't need to link to the Archive. The Archive just gives you more information. Okay. What they did is they made a new body for Elizabeth and basically poured it over her data, but that body had never linked to the Archive. So she was technically non-autonomous, whatever. I'm probably using the incorrect word, but she was technically like those other robots because she had never linked up to Archive.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Makes sense now.
So, any other things you want to talk about?
No, we can do some ratings.
Okay.
It's just us here.
So I was gonna joke and be like, Ace, I'm gonna give it a such and such point, such and such.
You should.
No, I don't do that. Ladies first. What do you think?
It's definitely a high 9 for me.
A 9?
Yeah,
really?
It's a high 9. I think it's just because I need to watch it more. I just don't think I caught all the information. So I think I need to rewatch it to really give it a 10. But just from my first watch, it's definitely a 9, a very high 9.
So because of your lack of clarity, I'm just kidding. That's totally fine. That is fine.
Like it's just sense. A 9 right now.
A lot happened.
Because it does give you a lot of information, and I think because I'm not used to animes with a lot of time skips, I don't really focus well. So like I get lost in the beginning, and then I'm trying to like fully understand what's going on, and then we go to a new thing, and I'm like, okay, but I gotta remember what happened 2 episodes ago because that kind of ties into this episode. And then when we got to the end, I was just like, there's a lot going on. My brain can't function.
Oh, yeah, no, I had no issues with the time skips
But also,
because they're
I'm
set
very,
pieces.
I know, but also I'm very new to anime, so I'm like, at least I keep up with the subs now.
Very true.
So,
are you good?
yeah.
You good?
Yeah,
Yo,
what
okay.
are you giving it?
I before the last 2 episodes, I'd probably have given, like, I'd still give it a 10 because you know why? Because I was thinking, I was like, there's really no reason for me not to give this a 10. I was like, there's nobody that I really dislike. There's no like huge gaping holes or like the pacing was really good for me. Like I didn't think that it was too fast or too slow. I thought it was great.
It was definitely not
like,
too slow.
The music was amazing. The visuals were amazing. The combat was amazing. So I was like, why don't I want to give this a 10? So I was like, there's literally no reason for me not to. And then the last 2 episodes hit, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this is definitely a 10. Like, this is amazing. Because those episodes were just, yeah, perfection to me for this story. And I'd have to put it up there, and I was telling the wife that this earlier, like, I'd have to put it up there with Violet Evergarden, because there's anime that I can watch all the time, but there's anime that I could literally watch like anytime. Like anybody wants to see Violet, I am down. Like let's watch it right now. Like, and I have martial arts anime and all that stuff that I really love. But I'm just like, I'm not in the mood. I'm always in the mood for Violet, and I could see myself in the mood for Vivy like all the time. So if you need to rewatch it for more info, I am down. Because, yeah, I really, really, really liked this anime. That's why I was like, why am I trying to psych myself out of a 10? Like, this doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so 10 from me, high 9 from you.
So if we were going to rewatch it, would you want to rewatch it all in dub, or you want to watch it all again in sub?
No, oh god, man. Matsumoto was so good in English.
Because I only watched, I think, up to episode 7 in sub, and then I watched the rest in dub.
I mean, Matsumoto in Japanese isn't bad either, but like...
I think it would have been more, I think it might be more fun.
Ooh, that's actually tough, because everybody else doesn't have a bad voice actor in dubbed. Like, that's usually my issue, is it just sounds so forced in dubbed, but the dubs were so good. Ooh. If it's just us, I'd probably do dubbed.
Okay.
If it's with a friend, like if Steven wanted to watch it, probably do subbed, and then play one in dubbed and see how he felt. Because he's like me. He's like a sub purist. But yeah. No. And then we'll have to edit the ranking once I can get it from Ace on the description. We'll write it what his is. But as of right now, we are at a 10 and a 9. So either way, highly recommended. Let us know what you think. Next week is good old JJK, Jujutsu Kaisen. I know Ace has been looking forward to that because he's been meaning to finish it. Up to you if you want to join for that one or not. I like having you around. Like the listeners like having you around.
Hey, maybe it might be one of those genres where I'll just be like, nope, not my cup of tea.
I think, I don't know. You watch like the first 2, see if you're interested.
Okay.
But anyway, until next time, I am CJ.
And I am Jess.
And we will catch you next AA meeting.